So you're back for some more game dev content. Well, I gotcha. In the past 2 weeks I have been so busy developing new features to the game that I am really getting close to achieving my goal of getting a prototype till the end of the year. So the first thing that you can notice, which I've implemented actually today, today is Wednesday the 21st of October, is this very primitive in-game time system. So I'm planning on having a game where you have a in-game time, obviously, with a day and night cycle, which is not yet implemented. And 1 hour equals 1 minute. So a full game day of 24 hours will be 24 minutes. But of course, the player will have to sleep. So this is the current state that you're seeing. So up here we are now, now it is 1 a.m. or 10 minutes past 1 a.m. basically. But this is a very early stage, and I was actually not planning on having it in the video, but I thought, well, I've already implemented this first step, so why not include it? Another small thing that I've changed is the numbers. I have implemented a different font, and now we can go to the left side of the scene, which you guys already know, and over here we have the player. Something pretty cool that I have been working on is you can now interact with them. So by pressing E, a dialog window pops up and he basically says, hey, you can buy and sell stuff here. Obviously over here then later on there's going to be a portrait, but for now it's just the image of the player. I can now click on this exit icon and a small shop window opens up with a buy and a sell tab, which is empty. So we don't have any items currently in our inventory that can be sold. And as for now, the NPC does not have any items to sell. But I can go ahead and, because I am of course in God mode, I can press P, I can spawn in a couple of items, and now I have some carrot seeds in my inventory. And these carrot seeds are actually sellable. So if I go ahead and pick up the tools are not sellable. So I can now go ahead and talk to this NPC again. I can click into the text felt and the text is being displayed at once. I can go to the sell tab and here you see the carrot seeds. So I have a small description. I have the price. Currently it's 7 nothing. So in school they would say 7 what? Apples or trees. But I don't have a real currency yet. I can go ahead and I can add this because currently we are in the sell tab. I can add this. So in the bottom we see the total amount that we could sell these 2 seeds for. I can go up till 5 because we only have 5 of them in the inventory. And when clicking on selling or the sell button, nothing happens in the current state of the game, but later on, obviously now if I click on it, 2 of these seeds will be sold and the player would make 14 apple trees because, well, apple trees is the currency in my game. So we can go ahead and close this dialog, and this is the dialog or the current shop system that I have implemented, which actually is pretty cool. To be honest, the first time I've talked to this NPC and I've seen this dialog system, it felt super cool to actually see the progress that I'm making, because it looks more and more like an actual game. Also, like if you've noticed, the characters are being displayed once after each other, so that is something really, really cool. Another thing that I've implemented is the mine. So the player can now actually enter the mine, and be prepared. This is the first version of the mine, so it's not completely it is definitely not the version that is going to be shipped, obviously, but it still is a version. So whenever you enter the mine is procedurally generated. So whenever you enter it, it is going to be different. Currently, the first thing that you notice is the view changed from a top-down perspective to a side view. And also we have something like gravity. I have a very basic jump with no animation yet. And it's still just pulling the player upwards till he reaches a certain point and then pulling the player downwards. So it's still made look a little bit floaty, and it's not the final jumping jumping system that I'm going to ship as well, but still it is the first thing. I can then open my inventory, and well, we see we have 20 ladders that are now in the inventory. So whenever you enter the mine is completely being generated. Whenever you leave the mine is going to be reset. So whenever you leave and re-enter the mine, you will be starting from or in a fresh mine. And you will have a certain amount of ladders that the player can use. So I can now go ahead and I can select the pickaxe, and I can now go ahead and actually like jump over this tile that I've just removed, or drop down and basically dig myself down into the mine. Obviously later on, all of this is going to use up energy. So whenever the player actually destroys a tile, he uses energy. Whenever he jumps, he uses energy. And the strategy behind this is going to be that the player has to basically think about how deep he wants to go into the mine. So in the beginning of the game, he's not going to be able to go till the bottom of the mine, because, well, he has no option of getting back up. Of course, he can just dig up this basic structure over here and start jumping up, but as soon as he runs out of energy, well, he will not be able to get up unless he has some ladders. So I can go ahead and I can place these ladders by selecting them and then clicking onto a free spot to place a tile or a ladder tile, and then can climb up the ladders. So this way I could actually try and leave the mine. I can also go back to the bottom and start digging up some more tiles, and you see we also already have some drops that are being spawned whenever we, for example, destroy the stone tile. But now let's go ahead and let's go a little bit deeper into the mine. So here you see the first ores appearing. So over here we have some iron ores. I can go ahead and I can also collect these iron ores, and of course they are being added to the inventory. And as I've said, in the beginning of the game, the player will definitely not be able to go down till the bottom of the mine. So let me go ahead and show you guys the actual size of the mine. So this is the scene view. In here I can zoom out and basically show you guys the full level. So you see over here we don't have any tiles. This is a boundary for the camera. And currently the mine is 128 by 128 tiles big. So it is kind of huge. And we already have different types of ores that are spawning. The more or the deeper you are able to go into the mine, the better or different ores are going to be spawned. So for example, we have some gold ores, or we have some smaragd ores. And again, all of these are being placed in a random order. So every time you enter it, there will be a different amount and they will be located at different points. The strategy that I am going to have is the player will spawn in the mine, as I said, with a certain amount of ladders, which you will be able to increase during or while playing the game, and with a certain set of energy that he has. So in the beginning, he will not be able to go down to the bottom. He will only be able to go to a certain level, and I will implement something that calculates how deep the player can go into the mine, and then add some kind of fog to the mine to show the player, hey, if you're down here, you might get in trouble and not be able to get back out. And as soon as the player hits a point where he has no energy left and he has no ladders to place, so basically he would be stuck in the mine, he would be fall over, be teleported out of the mine, and lose everything that he would have collected. So this will force the player to basically plan out how deep can he go into the mine, Does he still have ladders? It will basically not force him, but he will be probably think about, hey, I want to have more ladders, so maybe I put a skill point when I have a skill system in having more ladders. Let's say something like that, or a skill point towards having more energy, so that he will be able to go deeper into the mine, to then be able to get some of the more precious ores that are in the mine or buried in the mine. Obviously later on I will have a lot of different ores. It's not going to be only these that I currently have, but for now or for the beginning, I think that's kind of okay, or okay-ish, to have only iron ore, stone, gold and smaragd. And of course later on we also will have some enemies in the mine. So for example, we would have some tiles that would not be set over here. We would have some kind of hole where enemies would be in, and as soon as you dig into it, enemies would swarm towards you and try to attack you. Because again, another feature that will be added is you will not be able to see everything. So the mine will be dark and you will only see a certain amount of the mine. But yeah, these are the things that I've been implementing in the last 2 weeks, and I have to say I am super happy with it. It turned out really well. Obviously I still have a couple of bugs. So for example, I could, if I dig up over here, I can get stuck in some mine tiles because the collider is not set properly. But these are things that obviously will be fixed in the near future, hopefully up until the end of this year. So leave your thoughts in the comments, what you think about the current state, if you have any ideas, what you do like or dislike, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.